Hi there. It's April 25th and time for Proverbs 25. I will say that I am suffering allergies today, so to excuse my throat clearing and sneezing and sniffing. And slept with the window open last night, which is a big mistake if you live here and you have allergies in the spring. So we'll struggle through it. Let's jump over here and we'll get into it. Now, these are the Proverbs of Solomon, were discovered and copied by the aides of King Hezekiah of Judah. He says that the men of Hezekiah came to transcribe these. More Proverbs are probably, and some of them are repeats. You'll recognize them from other chapters, but we'll go through them. As usual, they run everything together. 2 and 3. It is God's privilege to conceal things, and the king's privilege to discover and invent. You cannot understand the height of heaven, the size of the earth, or all that goes on in the king's mind. It is the glory of God to conceal the matter, but the glory of kings to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Okay. 4 and 5. I wish they would let me separate them if I wanted to separate them. When you remove dross from silver, you have sterling ready for the silversmith. When you remove corrupt men from the king's court, his reign will be just and fair. Yeah, right. It says the same thing. This part right here. God does that for us, If you purify your heart, He's going to do that. 6 and 7. Don't demand an audience with the king as though you were some powerful prince. It is better to wait for an invitation rather than to be sent back to the end of the line and publicly disgraced. Now, they kind of turn that around, okay? That's not the meaning of that. And we've read this in several other places. Okay? Don't boast. Do not boast in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the same place as great people, for it is better that it be said to you, come up here, than to be placed in a lower in the presence of the prince, whom your eyes have seen. Yeah. And if you go to some fancy function, stand in the back and let them call you forward. Okay? Now you'll get honor. Ooh, who's that? If you stand in the front like this, they're gonna, sorry, your place is back there, and then you gotta, everybody's gotta watch you march to the back of the room. That's why Solomon says to be humble at all times. 8 and 10. Don't be hot-headed and rush to court. You may start something you can't finish and go down before your neighbor in shameful defeat. So discuss the matter with him privately. Don't tell anyone else, lest he accuse you of slander and you can't withdraw what you said. Wow. Okay. Let's read it over here. Don't go hastily to argue your case. Otherwise, what will you do in the end when your neighbor humiliates you? Argue your case with your neighbor and do not reveal the secret to another, or one who hears it will put you to shame, and the evil report about you will not pass away. Yeah. A lot of people today publicize all their fights on social media and the internet, become laughing stocks. 11. Timely advice is as lovely as gold apples in a silver basket. Your words spoken at the proper time. 12. It is a badge of honor to accept valid criticism. Like an earring of gold and a jewelry piece of fine gold is a wise person who offers rebukes to a listening ear. I know a paraphrase is a paraphrase, but it's just interesting how they completely reword something, huh? It says it's a badge of honor to accept criticism, and this is talking about the actual criticism itself. The criticism itself is like an earring of gold and a fine piece of jewelry. Okay. When criticism, or it says rebukes, is offered to somebody who's willing to accept it. But 13, a faithful employee is as refreshing as a cool day in the hot summertime. Faithful messenger. There's the word messenger for employee, but for he refreshes the soul of his masters. I don't know if a messenger is an employee. I mean, back then they didn't have social media or telephones or newspapers or the only way they had of getting messages back and forth were to send messengers. Okay. And if you send an idiot to give a message, it could get you in trouble. A faithful messenger was one who said word for word exactly what the message was and did not embellish it at all or take away from it. Okay, 14. One who doesn't give the gift he promised is like a cloud blowing over a desert without dropping any rain. The gift he promised. Is a person who boasts of his gifts falsely. And a gift of falsehood, right? That reminds you of most of the politicians throughout the last couple hundred years. If I'm elected, I'll do this and this and this, and they don't do any of that. Okay, it's just fake. Well, sometimes. Sometimes they do. Most times they don't. Okay. 15. Be patient and you will finally win, for a soft tongue can break hard bones. A gentle tongue breaks bones. Through patience, a ruler may be persuaded. Okay. Doesn't say that. I mean, it doesn't. I know it's a paraphrase. But if you're paraphrasing, it should be paraphrasing what the words are. Okay? Through patience, a length of anger, a ruler may be persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks bone. Be patient, you'll finally win. Finally win what? Win what? Doesn't say what. Okay. Doesn't say what. Okay. 16. Do you like honey? Don't eat too much of it or it'll make you sick. Yeah. Pretty much says that. 17. Yeah. Don't visit your neighbor too often or you will wear out your welcome. All right. Let your foot rarely be in your neighbor's house, or you will become weary, and he will become weary and hate you. Right? Every one of those neighbors is just always around. Pretty soon you despise them. Don't be that neighbor. Telling lies about someone is as harmful as hitting him with an axe, or wounding him with a sword, or shooting him with a sharp arrow. Oh. Like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow is a person who gives false testimony against his neighbor. Right. That's not good. 19. Putting confidence in an unreliable man is like chewing with a sore tooth or trying to run on a broken foot. Okay. It says a treacherous person in time of trouble. Treacherous person in time of trouble, and an unreliable man. Okay. They didn't go far enough, huh? 20. Being happy-go-lucky around a person whose heart is heavy is as bad as stealing his jacket in cold weather and rubbing salt on his wounds. Happy-go-lucky. There's a term you're not reading the Bible too often, huh? Like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, or like a vinegar on soda, is one who sings songs to a troubled heart. Evil. Huh? Singing songs is happy-go-lucky. I suppose you could go there, huh? 21 and 22. Now this was taught by Jesus, okay? If your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. This will make him feel ashamed of himself, and God will reward you. Okay. Kind of mellowed that down, didn't they? Okay, this is if your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Okay, burning coals. "23, as surely as wind from the north brings cold, just as surely a retort causes anger." Okay, retort. That's weird, huh? Actually says, "The north wind brings rain, and a gossiping tongue brings an angry face." You know, I noticed in the Living Bible, they never use the word gossip, and they almost never use the word fool. Okay? They do sometimes, but often out of context. Okay? The Lord, God hates gossip. He called it out as gossip. Some things you should not turn around, even for a paraphrase. For these, Solomon said to Salah, "It is better to live in the corner of an attic than in a beautiful home with a cranky, quarrelsome woman." This is contentious. Okay. Didn't have all the adverbs. It just says contentious, which means somebody who likes to argue. Okay, men can be like this too, not just women. Okay, 25. Good news from far away is like water, cold water to the thirsty. Right? News from a distant land. Wouldn't you like to get some good news from a distant land, especially those ones over in the east that are all fighting with each other? 26. If a godly man compromises with the wicked, it is like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. Compromises with the wicked. Like a tramp string is a righteous person who gives way before the wicked. Okay. I mean, that does mean the same thing. There's a lot of this going on right now, huh? Especially in politics. Compromising with the wicked. It's like polluting a well or muddying a spring. You could talk on that all day. There's plenty of examples you could bring up with, you know, so a righteous person and godly man. You know, good people to compromise with the wicked. It happens. Just as it is harmful to eat too much honey, so it is also bad for men to think about all the honors they deserve. Okay, that's the. You shouldn't light things up when they mean things. It's not good achievement, nor is it glory to search out one's own glory. Okay? This doesn't say think, it says search out. This is about bragging. Nobody likes a bragger, okay? That's why when they have functions, is if somebody else comes up and introduces a speaker and speaks of his accomplishment, so the person is not searching out his own glory. Okay? Because nobody likes that. Nobody likes, I did this and this and this. Nobody likes a bragger. Okay? It's just. It does think. It's just bad for men to think about all the honors they deserve. People think about that all the time. Search out, go looking for stuff. That's just basically is don't brag, okay? Just don't brag. Be humble. Okay? 28, a man without self-control is as defenseless as a city with broken down walls. Right? No self-control over his spirit. Okay? Over his spirit. Okay? So your spirit is the lamp of the Lord. There you have it. That's Proverbs 25. See our highlights here. What's the highlighted differences? We've gone over most of these other ones because these are Proverbs that were transcribed by somebody else. And, most of it we've read already. But in other Proverbs. When you remove the drops from silver, you have sterling ready for the silversmith. Yeah. Dross is an old term. See, impurities is what it is. Okay. When you melt silver in a furnace, or gold, or any metal for that matter, the impurities float to the surface, and then they take a ladle and then they scrape those off and throw them away, and you're left with pure metal. It's often said that God does this with hearts, and it is a painful process, but what you come out with is a pure heart. It's create in me a clean or pure heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Painful process. Because first they got to melt you down. The fire. Got to go through the fire. 6 and 7. Don't boast. Don't demand an audience with the king as though you were some powerful prince. It's better to wait for an invitation rather than to be sent back to the end of the line publicly disgraced. Right. And we talked about that. Don't go to a function and sit at the main table, because the chances are somebody's going to say your seat is back there, and then everybody's got to watch you get up and walk to the back. Better if you sit in the back and they say, oh, hey, your seat's up here with me. Then you get honored. Right? Good advice. Okay. We highlighted 12. It is a badge of honor to accept valid criticism. What it really means is the honor is the criticism. Okay? Like an earring of gold and a jewelry of fine gold is a wise person who offers rebukes to a listening ear. Okay? A wise person who offers rebukes, instruction, criticism to somebody willing to listen to him. Okay? You know, a smart person comes up to you and says, can I give you some advice? Take it. Okay? Say thank you. And 13, they use the word employee instead of messenger. And, messengers were employees back then, but they had a specific job. They were messengers. They were taking messages back and forth between people. I highlighted 17. Good advice. Don't visit your neighbor too often or you will wear out your welcome. And it goes further in the New Market Standard said, and they will grow weary of you and hate you. Telling lie. Okay. 19. An unreliable man versus a treacherous person. You can be unreliable and not be treacherous. You can just be lazy. Of course, putting confidence in a lazy person is probably not a good idea either. So. And I just highlighted this. I've never seen the term happy-go-lucky used in a Bible reference, but this is sing songs to a troubled heart. And yeah, you don't want to sing songs to a troubled heart. Okay, we highlighted 21:22. We'll read it over here. Jesus said this. Okay, I say, love your enemies. He said that. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to drink. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Right. Retort. Okay. As a retort, surely as the wind from the north brings cold, just as surely a retort causes anger. They really oversimplified that. Okay. A gossiping tongue brings an angry face. Okay. If somebody tells you something in confidence and you tell somebody else, sooner or later, it's going to get back to the person who told it to you in confidence. Oh, did you hear so-and-so did so-and-so? And you're like, okay, you're going to make people mad. Don't gossip. Just don't. Okay, 26. If a godly man compromises the wicked, it's like polluting a fountain. And a righteous person who gives way before the wicked. Well, basically says the same thing. But that happens a lot. Godly people, righteous people, compromises with the wicked, or gives way before the wicked. Happens in Congress all the time. And it could be because they want to win favors, or it could be because they are being harassed or blackmailed. Okay. When you're dealing with wicked people, they will do whatever they want to get their way. And sometimes that even means breaking rules, breaking laws, threatening. And it goes on more than you want to think about. Yeah. Okay, we highlighted part of 27. Just as harmful it is to eat too much honey, so it is bad for men to, and it says, think about all the honors they deserve. Okay, people think about that all the time, but it's not a glory to search out one's own glory. Okay, to brag. It's not to brag out loud. People think about the honors they deserve, but be humble. Don't brag about it. Yeah. Okay. 28, self-control and no control over his spirit, which is self. So there you have it. That's Proverbs 25 for April 25th. We're just gonna keep doing this, okay? I'll keep battling my allergies until June, no doubt. You know, when everything's green and all the pollen's gone. But stay tuned later today. I think we are, let me look real quick. We are doing Psalms today. More Psalms. Lots of Psalms. So we'll get into some more Psalms today, but that can be refreshing, and then back into Chronicles tomorrow, more genealogy. All of Chronicles is genealogy. So, and to be honest, I probably never read through the book of Chronicles before because genealogy is not my thing. But somebody loves it. So, there you have it. Until next time, stay humble. Don't wear out your welcome. See you later.